Good day, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Emmanuel Adebayo. Here with me is our father in the Lord, Pst J.O.D Ekele, the East-Wide Lorna Territorial Administrative Secretary. That's Lagos, Western and Northern area of the Apostolic Church, the mother of Pentecostalism in Nigeria, over 100 of years in Nigeria. Daddy is an astute orator and an eloquent dexterity. He has been in the ministry for a while, over 39 years in the ministry. He's a speaker in the conference and also seminars. He has a number of publications. And today we're going to talk about one of his books. I was speaking with Daddy and I told him this book is here to gain audience. The book, 6,000 copies have been sold so far. So it's a book that has potential in it. The young and the old, we need to learn from this book. So it's more or less a talk about the book. So people, if you have not gotten your copy, you can chat me, call me, and the book will be delivered to you. You need to have this book. You need to have this book. So, Daddy, what was the motive that drive about you writing this book?
I'm very happy for being here, and it is my pleasure to do a kind of appreciation of my book titled Purpose Discovery, a worthwhile living, a catalyst for worthwhile living. The rationale behind the publication of this Purpose Discovery is about letting every human being know, particularly the readers, the target readers, know that God has a purpose in creating you, and that you are not a product of chances. You are not a product of accidents. You are not evolved. And this is one of those things that negate the theory of evolution. You were created by God. Every human being is created by God in the image and likeness of God, and with a purpose. In other words, there is a blueprint that underpins human creation as God created man. So the book is basically on Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5. The 12 chapters that make up Purpose Discovery, a catalyst for worthwhile, is basically on one verse of the Bible. And that is Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5, which says, "Before I formed thee in your mother's womb, I knew you, and I've ordained you and called you to be a prophet." So with that, until one discovers his purpose in life, he will be marveling on earth aimlessly. And that is the rationale behind it.
Thank you very much. So this is the book. This is the book. I haven't shown you guys. This is the book. So as I said earlier on, if you need a copy of it, and I tell you, if you read this book, you will not remain the same. It carries power. It entails what one needs to know to strive and to discover his purpose. Now let's jump straight into the question. Now, the first question I'm going to ask is from chapter 1 of the book.
Yeah.
So what is the fundamental principle of purpose, and how can one seek to discover it?
The fundamental principles of purpose, like it is in chapter 6. Chapter 6 talked about principles of purpose. Purpose itself is a mystery behind human creation. And the fundamental purpose of, what do you call it?
Human.
The fundamental purpose of, human creation is about representing God on earth. God conferred his government over all other things on earth to man. And in other words, man was created with destiny. And destiny basically is the blueprint with which God created man. Man was not created as a tabula rasa. In other words, an empty slate. Man was not created as an empty slate. Man was created with potentialities. Man was created with talents. Man was created with purpose for a reason. And that's why that Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5 says, before I formed thee in your mother's womb, I knew you, and I've ordained you, and I made you a prophet unto my people. The implication here is that there is a definite direction in human creativity as God, I did it. So principles of purpose, according to chapter 6 of purpose discovering a catalyst for what we have in living, is about God. God is God of purpose himself. The value that underpins our assertion here is God being the God of purpose. Every creator or manufacturer, as the case may be, begins with what? With purpose. You cannot manufacture a fan you are seeing when you do not know the purpose that fan will serve. That's why in chapter 6, number 1, I start with saying God is God of purpose. And if you go further, I went further by saying everything in life has a purpose. There is a purpose for which God made everything in life. The knowledge God conferred to man was to make man a creator, not a creator of human being, but a creator of what is worthwhile, that will magnify the name of God. So if God is God of purpose and he created everything, then everything in life has a purpose. So this principle matters. Until we understand the principle, we may not be able to appreciate our creative nature. And I want to tell you that in the book, I made it very clear here that not every purpose is known. Not every purpose is known. Our world is plagued by the desires and aspirations to have more and more and more. And that is why Professor Robin says in this, as an economist, he said, human wants are insatiable. Opportunity cost, forgone alternative. Not every purpose is known, but having something is not really the most important thing. You may have something, but does that thing convey a purpose for which you get it? Or did you get it for pleasure?
Alright, Daddy, because of our time,
Yeah.
so let's ask the next question. Now, you spoke I read in one section of your book, you said being successful and fulfilling purpose are not the same.
Yeah, no.
So now, can one fulfill purpose without being successful?
No one can fulfill purpose without being successful.
How?
It's a philosophical statement and it's a reality. It's a reality. Now, one can be successful in a thing and still will not fulfill a purpose. Take for instance, if you are not called, for example, as a pastor, if I am not called to be a pastor, I may learn to be a pastor without having pastoral content. I will do pastoral work, but there is no successfulness. You understand now?
Yes.
Or I may be successful because I read theology in theological seminary and I graduated with distinction and all of those things. Maybe first class or second class, lower or upper, as the case may be. And then I graduated. And yet, the fulfillment is not there because the essence of it is for evangelism and evangelization. So if that practical aspect of my theological knowledge is not there, I am not fulfilled. If souls are not giving their life to Christ when I preach, I am not fulfilled. I have actually fulfilled the purpose. Are you hearing me now? But I'm not successful.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
So chapter 2 said is about purpose and you. Now, divine purpose, whatever God does is for a purpose.
It's for a purpose.
So he's talking about, that chapter is talking about whatever God does is
Yeah,
for a
it's for a
purpose.
purpose.
So God always has the end in mind before he begins. Now the question is, can man by himself alter the purpose of God in his life?
Of course, yes. Of course, yes. Man himself can alter the purpose of God in his life, but not another man. Are you hearing now? This is where the wrong theology that is permeating the theological family is corrected. Everything God made is for a purpose. If it does not fulfill the purpose of which God made it, that is where the judgment is. Are you hearing what I'm saying? That's where the judgment is. So the man can alter the purpose of God for his life if man violates the divine law. There's a law attached to everything God created. You understand what I'm saying? There's a law attached to everything God created. Animals, forests, mountains, trees, and all of those things.
So in essence, man can alter the
It can alter the purpose of God.
Does not
if it deviates,
from the law.
if it is not, complying with the divine laws.
Thank you very much for that.
Okay.
So the next question will be, chapter 3 was talking about purpose and vision. So how can we know the vision?
And visions can be known through your reality or commitment to God Himself. To God Himself. Vision is given by God. Vision is seen to the future. You as an individual, with your sensual mind, might not be able to see the future. And that is why the scripture says in 1 Corinthians 2, verse 10 and 11, he said, which also is there in the book, he said that it's the spiritual that knows the deep things of the spirit. The carnal mind cannot know. The carnal mind cannot know. So the fact here is that vision is seen beyond, and is the mystery unfolded to man by God. It's the mystery unfolded to man by God. And by implication, when you talk about vision, you cannot separate vision from the source of vision.
That's God Himself.
That's God Himself.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Now the next question will be from chapter 4. You said purpose and time.
Purpose and time.
And you quoted Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1.
Verse 1.
For every time, or for every thing on earth, the purpose for it.
Yes.
Now, how does timing fit into our purpose?
It matters a lot, because where you waste time, you spend time on trivialities. You spend time on things that is not worthwhile. That's why the book is purpose discovering, a catalyst for worthwhile living. Now, you spend time for what is not worthwhile. Obviously, you have actually, deviated from the purpose for which that time is created.
Because you also, from reading that chapter, you spoke about when Mary spoke about Jesus going to turn the water to wine, and he said, "It's not yet my time."
Yes.
So in everything in life, there is time.
There is time. There is time to sleep. There is time to wake. There is time to smile. There is time to frown. There is time to cry. There is time to laugh. Time, everything.
So we can't go